Public health has really transitioned into a new era, with the understanding that it will take vehicles outside the traditional healthcare system to build a culture of preventative health. Under the leadership of former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Regina Benjamin and current U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy, there's been a particular emphasis on the importance of cross-sector partnerships to build healthy communities. When I began our organization, Healthy Detroit, we saw an opportunity to build a cross-sector public-private relationship with the Detroit Parks and Recreation Department, understanding the value of parks and public spaces in building vibrant, healthy, and happy places. In my opinion, we can't build a culture of preventive health through the traditional healthcare mechanisms. We have to look outside the box, particularly when thinking of how to passively address the social determinants of health. To me, there's no greater asset in a community than parks and public spaces. And so I'm honored to serve on this board and humbled to introduce three individuals that I've quite frankly learned so much from. So, over the last 6-7 years, I would say the Office of the U.S. Surgeon General has truly been among the most progressive in our nation's history. My work with the office was ultimately what inspired me to work in public health as opposed to practicing medicine, because they really opened my eyes to understanding some of the real issues we have within our healthcare system, especially our chronic disease epidemic. At the same time, they opened many doors that allowed for innovative cross-sector collaboration with a particular emphasis on prevention. I was fortunate enough to work with former Surgeon General Dr. Benjamin in helping get our own organization off the ground, and that relationship has continued under the leadership of our current Surgeon General, Dr. Murthy. After graduating from Yale School of Medicine as a Soros Fellow, Dr. Murthy went on to complete his residency at Harvard Medical School before forming his own organization, Doctors for America, and serving as their president and CEO for a number of years. The organization is comprised of 15,000 physicians and medical students that have been focused on comprehensive healthcare reform. In 2011, Dr. Murthy was appointed by President Obama to serve on the National Prevention Council, which was the interdisciplinary committee responsible for drafting the national prevention strategy. This ultimately led to his appointment as the 19th and youngest Surgeon General in United States history in 2014. And so while we were hoping Dr. Murthy would be here to join us because he certainly understands the importance of the relationship between parks and recreation and public health, things in Washington have been a little bit crazy the last couple months, would you say? But we did have a great video that he sent us to share some of his remarks, so we'll let that kind of play out.
Hi, I'm Dr. Vivek Murthy, the 19th Surgeon General of the United States. I'm honored to be included in this year's Michigan Recreation and Park Association Annual Summit. It's a privilege to have the opportunity to talk to parks and recreation professionals like yourselves who have such an important impact on public health, which of course is a main focus of the Surgeon General. Chronic diseases are responsible for 7 to 10 deaths each year, and treating people with chronic diseases accounts for 86% of our nation's healthcare costs. Yet only half of American adults get enough physical activity to help reduce their risk of chronic disease, and only about a quarter of American high school students get their recommended amount of physical activity. Even a small bit of activity can make a big difference. The key is to get started. And it turns out that just an average of 22 minutes a day of physical activity, which comes out to 2.5 hours per week, can significantly reduce the risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes. Physical activity has long-term health benefits, and walking is the simplest and easiest way to get the aerobic physical activity we all need. Now, to be honest, for a long time I wasn't much of a walker, but a few years ago, shortly before we released our Surgeon General's call to action to promote walking in walkable communities, I made a decision to make walking a bigger part of my life. I started walking to and from work. I began catching up with friends over a walk instead of coffee. I chose to walk instead of driving whenever possible. Not only was it good for my health, but it also cleared my mind and contributed to my emotional well-being. Walking can be a fun, easy, and affordable step toward building a more active and healthy lifestyle. It requires no special skills and can be done almost anywhere, alone or with others. It can be modified for individual needs and preferences, making it accessible and adaptable for Americans of all ages and stages. For persons living with disabilities, walking or moving with assistive devices is also possible. Recently, I was part of a national step competition called the Step It Up Challenge, and I'm proud to report that more than 600,000 people across the country joined, taking more than 60 billion steps together. That's enough to circle the Earth 1,152 times. As parks and recreation professionals, you have a unique and important connection to public health. So I encourage you to reach out to leaders across sectors, including healthcare, transportation, schools, faith leaders, and others, to work collaboratively and create relationships. You may also know that MParks has even developed its own Come Out and Play initiative, which encourages young people to take advantage of Michigan's parks, trails, and recreation areas to engage in 60 minutes of physical activity per day. This program was piloted in more than 40 communities across the state since 2015, and it is now a resource available to you. Together, you can motivate and inspire anyone to get outside and make a positive change to improve their health. And it's because of professionals like you that the public has free, safe, and entertaining spaces to benefit their health and improve their physical and mental well-being. I want to thank you for your hard work and contribution to your community and their health. Big change can start with a pair of walking shoes and your local park. Thank you again for inviting me to participate in your summit. And I want to thank all of you for your role in creating healthier communities. Keep up the good work.
So one of the things that we're really trying to do at MParks is advocate on behalf of our members to create these cross-sector partnerships with health systems and hospitals across the state. We want our parks and public spaces to be seen by these hospitals as valuable tools for building healthy communities. When it comes to building these partnerships and understanding the way health systems make their community investments, I can't think of any more knowledgeable expert in this field than Dr. Kevin Barnett. A senior investigator at the Public Health Institute out of Oakland, California, Kevin has led research and field work to advance hospital and community benefit practices for over 2 decades, working with hospitals, government agencies, and community stakeholders across the country. Today, Dr. Barnett will share some insights on the transformation of healthcare in the U.S. And the emerging roles of hospitals and health systems in building healthy communities. He'll specifically point to ways in which the alignment and focus of resources across sectors offers the potential to address the profound inequities in our communities. So with that, it really gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Kevin Barnett of the Public Health Institute.